After a human warrior donated his blood to a fading alien princess, the result was unbelievable. The war between the Kaelari and the Zenth had burned across the stars for generations. No one remembered how it started, only that it never ended. Planets turned to ash, fleets vanished into black holes, and silence grew where songs once lived. Among the scattered human colonies, a young woman named Lisa Carter trained harder than anyone. She was not born to war, but war found her when raiders destroyed her home on Series 9. She lost her parents, her brother, and the quiet dream of becoming a botanist. Instead, she joined the Galactic Peace Coalition not for glory, but because someone had to stand between the fire and the innocent. The coalition was small, made of volunteers from broken worlds. Humans were rare among them, seen as fragile, short-lived, and strange. But Lisa proved different. She moved fast, thought faster, and never backed down. Her commanders called her Shadow because she slipped through enemy lines like smoke. Her only weapon was a plasma knife and her will. She wore no armor, just a patched flight suit with a faded Earth flag stitched on the shoulder. Far beyond the battle lines on the dying moon of Varel, the last Zenth royal ship floated in orbit. Its hull scarred, its lights dim. Inside, Princess Elena lay dying. She was the last of her bloodline, the final thread holding her people's spirit together. The Zenth were tall, with skin like polished pearl and eyes that held galaxies. Their blood was silver and carried memories not just of their lives but of their ancestors. But something had gone wrong. A sickness no healer could name drained her light. With each passing hour, her pulse slowed and the Zenth fleet lost hope. Without her, their culture would fade into myth. The Kaelari High Command declared the Zenth extinct. They ordered total annihilation of the remaining ships. Lisa's unit was sent to confirm the kill. But as her dropship approached Varel, something pulled at her. Not a signal, not a voice, but a feeling like a hand tugging her heart. She told her squad to hold position and went alone. They called her reckless, but she did not care. She followed the pull like a compass needle pointing true. She boarded the royal vessel through a torn airlock. No alarm sounded. No guards challenged her. The corridors were empty except for drifting petals from the Zenth morning flowers. Their scent was sweet like rain on stone. She walked slowly, her knife ready, but her mind open. At the heart of the ship, she found the royal chamber. It glowed softly with bioluminescent vines that pulsed like slow breaths. In the center floated a crystalline bed, and on it lay Elena. The princess looked up. Her eyes were clouded but still sharp. "You are human," she said, not with words but through a gentle pressure in Lisa's mind. "Why have you come?" Lisa lowered her knife. "I came because you are alone. We are all alone in the end. Not if someone chooses to stay." Elena smiled faintly. "You speak like a poet, not a soldier. I was both once." The princess coughed and silver droplets floated in the air like tiny stars. "My people are gone. Their songs silenced. Their cities dust. I carry their last light, but it is fading. Soon there will be nothing left." Lisa stepped closer. "Is there no cure? Our healers tried everything. Our blood is tied to our world. With Varel dying, so are we." Lisa looked at her own arm. What if another kind of blood could help? Elena shook her head weakly. "Human biology is fire to our ice. Your blood would burn me." "Maybe," said Lisa. "Or maybe it could spark something new." The few remaining Zenth attendants gasped. One stepped forward, his voice sharp. "This is madness. You will kill her." But Elena raised a trembling hand. "Wait. Let me see her soul." She reached out and touched Lisa's forehead. Instantly, images flooded between them. Lisa saw Zenth children dancing under twin moons. She felt the weight of centuries of peace shattered by war. Elena saw Lisa's childhood on Earth, running through wheat fields, planting seeds in red soil, watching fireflies blink in summer dusk. Both felt the same ache, the same hope. "You carry life, not just death," Elena whispered. "So do you." Without thinking, Lisa pressed her knife to her palm. Blood welled red and warm. She held it out. "Take it, not as a cure. As a gift." The attendants protested, but Elena drank. The moment the red blood touched her silver tongue, the chamber exploded with light. Not harsh, not blinding, but golden soft, like sunrise after a long night. The vines on the walls bloomed with white flowers. The ship's dead systems hummed back to life. Outside, the broken Zenth ships flickered with renewed energy. Lisa fell to her knees, dizzy from blood loss. Elena caught her. The princess's skin now shimmered with streaks of gold. Her eyes held both violet and amber. She placed her palm on Lisa's chest and warmth flooded through her. Lisa felt stronger, clearer. She could hear the ship's heartbeat, the whisper of distant comets, the sigh of dying stars. "What happened?" she asked. We did not mix blood, Elena said. We wove it. Your courage, your memory, your earth, joined with my lineage. We are not healed. We are changed. In the days that followed, the impossible spread. Zenth ships that had been dark for years lit up. Their weapons powered down. Instead, they broadcast music, ancient lullabies mixed with human folk songs. The coalition was stunned. The Kaelari called it a trick. But Lisa knew better. She stood beside Elena on the bridge of the newly named vessel Dawn Singer. The Kaelari launched one final attack. 100 warships descended on Varel. Lisa expected Elena to fight back. Instead, the princess opened all communication channels. As the first plasma blast neared, she did not raise shields. She raised her voice. A wave of golden light rolled from the Dawn Singer. It passed through metal and bone not as a weapon, but as a mirror. Every Kaelari soldier saw their own past, their first kiss, their child's laugh, the reason they left home to fight. Tears filled helmets. Hands dropped from triggers. The fleet halted mid-charge. The Kaelari commander screamed for retreat, but his crew refused. They powered down. One by one, they opened hatches and stepped into the void, not to battle, but to talk. Peace did not come easy. Old wounds ran deep. But the seed was planted. Lisa and Elena traveled from world to world, not as warriors, but as bridges. They spoke in markets in ruins and refugee camps. They showed the difference could be strength, not weakness. Months later, they stood on a green planet named Solara. It was neutral ground given by the coalition for the Zenth to rebuild. Elena walked barefoot through tall grass. Lisa followed her old boots muddy. Children played nearby, some with silver skin, some with brown, some with both. They laughed in a mix of Zenth song and English slang. You gave me more than blood, Lisa said. And you gave me more than life. Elena replied, you gave me a future worth living. Lisa looked up. 2 suns shone, one yellow, one pale blue. She thought of Earth, the smell of wet soil, the sound of wind through pines. She missed it, but did not regret leaving, because here she had found something bigger than revenge. Elena took her hand. You are home, Lisa nodded. I know. And so the galaxy began to heal, not with treaties or armies, but with a single act of trust. A human warrior gave her blood not to win a war, but to save a soul. And in doing so, she saved them all. The stars themselves seemed to hum a new song, one of hope, not hate. And somewhere in the quiet between galaxies, the first note of a new age began to play. After a human warrior donated his blood to a fading alien princess, the result was unbelievable. The peace on Solara grew roots deep and wide, but the galaxy beyond still trembled. Whispers came from the silent zones, regions where no signals returned and ships vanished without trace. Traders spoke of ghost fleets drifting with no crew. Miners told of planets where time itself seemed broken. The coalition dismissed it as fear. Lisa did not. She felt it in her bones, a pull deeper than instinct. Something old was waking. Elena sensed it too. Her dreams filled with images of a black sun and a voice that spoke in silence. She tried to ignore it, but the visions grew stronger until one night she woke gasping, her skin cold as ice. Lisa held her tight. What did you see? A place with no name, she whispered, where all stories end. They consulted the sleeper's echo stored in the Dawn Singer's core. The sphere had left a trace not of data but of feeling. It pointed not to a location but to a resonance, a frequency humming in the void between galaxies. Mia, now a trusted scout, mapped the signal. It came from the dead zone, a place no ship dared enter. We have to go, Lisa said. Elena nodded. Not as warriors. As listeners, they prepared quietly. No fanfare, no promises. Just supplies, water seeds, and the small hope that understanding could stop what force never could. Korak offered to stay behind, but Lisa shook her head. Your eyes have seen the dark. We need them. The journey took weeks. Stars thinned. Space grew cold and still. Even the cosmic background hum faded. The ship felt alone. Mia monitored the sensors, her voice low. We are crossing the veil. No comms, no navigation. Only us. Then they saw it. A planet hung in the emptiness, wrapped in rings of frozen light. No sun warmed it yet. It glowed with soft gray energy. The surface was smooth like glass, reflecting nothing. This is it, Elena said. The place from my dreams. They landed on a plain of black stone. No wind, no sound. Their boots made no echo. Ahead rose a structure not built but grown. A spiral tower of obsidian that twisted into the sky. At its base stood a door shaped like an eye. Korak gripped his rifle. Trap, maybe, Lisa said. But we came to see. Elena stepped forward. The eye opened. Inside, the air shimmered. Walls pulsed with slow light. The floor showed scenes not of war but of endings. Civilizations choosing silence over noise, empires dissolving into song mines, merging into one and vanishing. This was not a tomb. It was a choice. At the center of the chamber floated a being. It had no shape, only presence. It spoke not in words but in knowing. "You have come to ask why we sleep." Elena bowed. "We came to understand." The being showed them the truth. Long ago, countless species reached a point. They could keep fighting, building, conquering, or they could let go. Most chose silence. They folded their minds into the fabric of space, becoming part of the quiet between stars. The sleeper was a child of that choice. This place was its cradle. "Why show us this?" Lisa asked. "Because you are close to the edge. Your union, human and Zenth, has created something new. Others will fear it. They will try to destroy it or control it. You must choose. Will you fight to be seen, or will you become part of the peace you seek?" Korak stepped forward. "I spent my life taking. Now I build. I choose to stay." Maya added, "I lost everything but found a home. I choose to protect it." Elena looked at Lisa. "Our blood is one. Our path is one. We choose to live, not to vanish." The being pulsed gently. "Then you must carry the quiet within you, not as an end, but as a shield." Light filled the chamber. Not golden, not silver, but clear like water. It flowed into them, not changing their bodies but their sight. They saw the threads connecting all life. The pain, the joy, the fear, the love. They understood that peace was not absence of conflict, but presence of care. When they returned to Solara, they were different. Not louder but calmer. Children ran to them not for stories but for stillness. Elders sat with them and wept without shame. The garden grew faster. Rivers ran cleaner. Even the sky seemed softer. But the galaxy noticed. A new faction rose, calling themselves the Purifiers. They claimed the union of human and Zenth was unnatural, a corruption of bloodlines. They gathered followers from fearful worlds and marched toward Solara with ships painted white like bones. Their leader, a human named Dale Harris, broadcast daily. "Purity is order. Mixtures bring chaos. Surrender the hybrid or face cleansing." Lisa expected rage. Instead, she felt sorrow. "He is afraid," Elena agreed. "Fear builds walls. We will build doors." They did not prepare weapons. They prepared welcome. They sent open messages, not demands. "Come see, eat with us, hold our children, know us before you judge." Most purifier ships turned back ashamed. But Dale came alone in a small vessel. He landed stiff and pale. Lisa met him at the gate. "No guards, no weapons." "Why are you not afraid?" he asked. "Because I know what you carry." "I carried it too." He stayed for 3 days. He ate Solara fruit, slept in a grass hut, and watched Korak teach children how to mend nets. On the 3rd night, he sat with Lisa by the river. "I lost my daughter in the last war. I thought if I made the galaxy pure, she would be safe." "She is safe in your memory," Lisa said. "Not in control." Tears fell. He left the next morning not as a leader, but as a man. His movement collapsed without his fire. Peace spread not by force, but by truth shared gently. Seasons turned. Solara became a beacon. Ships arrived not for war, but for learning. Human Zenth Kalari. Even former raiders came to plant seeds, share songs, and sit in silence. The Dawn Singer rarely left orbit now. It served as a school, a hospital, a home. One evening, Lisa and Elena walked to the highest hill. Below, the village glowed with lanterns. Laughter rose like music. "Do you think we changed the galaxy?" Elena asked. "No," Lisa said. "We reminded it of what it already knew." They sat hand in hand, watching stars blink awake. The black sun from Elena's dream was gone. In its place shone a new constellation shaped like 2 hands joined. Korak joined them, holding a basket of bread. Mia followed with a flask of starberry tea. They sat without speaking. Words were not needed. The quiet was enough. Far away on Earth, a child looked up and pointed. "Mom, what is that bright pair of stars?" The mother smiled. "That is hope." And across the endless dark, the light held. Not loud, not proud, but steady. Because sometimes the most powerful thing in the universe is not a weapon or a throne, but a single drop of blood given freely, and the courage to believe it could heal the world. After a human warrior donated his blood to a fading alien princess, the result was unbelievable. Peace settled over Solara like morning mist, but not everyone welcomed the quiet. On the outer rim, where law frayed into shadow, a new threat stirred. It called itself the Void Pact, a coalition of exiled warlords, scavengers, and broken factions who fed on chaos. They saw the truce between humans and Zenth not as hope, but as weakness. Their leader, Korak, a scarred Kaelari renegade, broadcast a single message across dead channels. "Unity is a cage. We will burn it down." Lisa and Elena heard the warning but chose not to arm for war. Instead, they planted gardens, taught children to weave star maps from vines, and held nightly gatherings where stories replaced strategies. Yet Lisa kept her plasma knife sharp. Old instincts did not vanish with peace. She watched the skies. She felt the shift in the wind. Something was coming. One evening, as twin suns dipped below the hills, a scout ship crashed in the eastern field. Smoke curled into the violet sky. Lisa ran first, Elena close behind. Inside the wreck lay a young human woman named Mia. Her flight suit was torn, her face smudged with ash. She clutched a data crystal to her chest like a prayer. They carried her to the healing dome where bioluminescent moss soothed burns and mended bone. When Mia woke, her eyes darted in panic until she saw Lisa's Earth flag patch. "You are real," she whispered. "What happened?" Lisa asked. "The Void Pact attacked our colony on Aura 7. They took everyone. I escaped with this." She held up the crystal. "It holds the last broadcast from our science team. They found something in the deep ice. Something alive." Elena touched the crystal gently. Mia nodded. Light poured from the device, not as images, but as feeling. A pulse slow and ancient. A presence buried for millennia beneath Aura 7's frozen crust. The scientists called it the Sleeper. They believed it was not a weapon, but a guardian left by a forgotten race. The Void Pack wanted to wake it not to protect, but to control. "We have to stop them," Mia said. Lisa looked at Elena. "Aura 7 is 3 jumps away. The Pact will reach the core in days." Elena's eyes glowed faintly gold. "Then we go, not as soldiers. As witnesses." They prepared the Dawn Singer. No weapons loaded. Only supply seeds and the crystal. Mia insisted on coming. "I know the tunnels," she said. "I can guide you." The journey was silent. Stars blurred past. Lisa sat in the cockpit watching Elena's reflection in the glass. The princess no longer wore royal robes. She wore simple cloth woven from Solara grass. Yet her presence filled the ship like steady light. When they arrived at Aura 7, the planet was wrong. The ice caps glowed red. Smoke rose from fissures. The Void Pact had already begun drilling. Massive machines bit into the crust like metal teeth. Korak's voice boomed from orbit. "Surrender the Sleeper or burn with it." They landed in a hidden valley. Mia led them through ice caves lit by blue fungi. The air grew warmer, deeper they went. Soon they heard it, a low hum that vibrated in their bones. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber. In the center floated a sphere of black crystal 10 meters wide. It pulsed like a heart. "This is it," Mia whispered. "The scientists said it responds to intent, not force." Before they could move, the chamber filled with armed raiders. Korak stepped forward, his face a map of old battles. "Human. Zenth. You bring peace to a world that eats the weak." He laughed. "The Sleeper will be my fist." Elena stepped ahead. "You misunderstand its purpose. I understand power, and this is power." He raised a sonic drill aimed at the sphere. Lisa moved fast, but not fast enough. The drill fired. A shriek tore through the chamber. The sphere cracked. Darkness poured out, not empty, but thick with memory. Visions flooded the room. Cities rising and falling, stars being born, wars ending in silence. The Sleeper was not a thing. It was a record of all that ever was. Korak screamed as the darkness wrapped around him. His mind could not hold so much truth. He fell to his knees, sobbing for his mother, for the brother he killed, for the home he forgot. His raiders dropped their weapons, overwhelmed. But the sphere kept cracking. The chamber shook. Ice fell from the ceiling. The Sleeper was dying. "We have to save it," Mia cried. "How?" Lisa asked. Elena closed her eyes. "Not with tools, with connection." She walked to the sphere and placed her hands on its surface. Golden light spread from her fingertips. Lisa knew what to do. She joined her. Their bloods had fused once. Now their wills did. Mia hesitated, then stepped forward too, placing her small human hands beside theirs. 3 beings. 1 purpose. The light grew. The crack sealed. The hum softened. The darkness receded, not gone but sleeping again. The chamber stilled. Korak lay unconscious. Tears frozen on his cheeks. They carried him out. Not as a prisoner, but as a patient. On the Dawn Singer, Elena tended his wounds. He woke, confused, ashamed. "Why did you not kill me? Because you are not your worst moment," Lisa said. Korak stared at the stars through the viewport. "I thought power was control. But it is this quiet." They returned to Solara, not with a victory, but with a warning. The Sleeper was safe, but others like it might exist. The galaxy was older than anyone knew, and peace was not the end of struggle, but the beginning of care. Weeks passed. Korak stayed. He helped build greenhouses, dug irrigation channels, taught children how to track storms. He never spoke of his past, but sometimes at night he sat with Lisa watching the sky. One evening he asked what happens now. Lisa smiled. We keep choosing each other. Elena joined them holding a basket of ripe Solara fruit. The children ran past laughing, chasing fireflies that glowed silver and red. The air smelled of rain and new growth. Far away on a dead moon, a single flower pushed through ash. On a derelict ship, a Kalari pilot played a Zenth lullaby over open comms. In a refugee camp, a human doctor used Zenth moss to heal burns. Small acts, quiet revolutions. Lisa knew the Void Pact was not truly gone. Shadows always returned. But now they had light to meet it. Not the harsh glare of weapons, but the steady glow of shared hands, shared bread, shared stories. Elena leaned her head on Lisa's shoulder. Do you ever miss Earth every day? But home is not a place. It is who you protect. And they protected each other, not with oaths or armies, but with daily choices. To listen, to stay, to believe that one drop of blood, one act of kindness could change everything. The sleeper slept. The stars watched. And on Solara life grew, not perfect, not safe, but alive. And that was enough. After a human warrior donated his blood to a fading alien princess, the result was unbelievable. Years passed on Solara like gentle tides. The village grew into a city not of steel but of living wood and light vines. Children born of human and Zenth heritage played in fields where once warships had hovered. Lisa's hair now held streaks of silver, but her steps were sure. Elena's glow had softened into a constant warmth like sunlight through leaves. They no longer ruled or led. They simply were. And that was enough. But peace is never still. It breathes, it shifts. It asks new questions. One morning a signal came not from the void but from Earth. The message was broken, fragmented, but clear in its plea. Help us. The core is failing. Lisa stood frozen in the communication dome. Earth had not reached out in decades. After the colony wars, most humans scattered or joined the coalition. Earth itself became a myth, a place spoken of in lullabies. Yet here was a voice raw with fear, speaking English with the old Midwest accent Lisa remembered from her grandmother. Elena placed a hand on her shoulder. You do not have to go back. I do, Lisa said. Not for them. For me. They prepared the Dawn Singer not for battle but for healing. Mia, now a skilled pilot, volunteered to navigate. Korak insisted on coming. Someone has to carry the heavy tools, he said with a rare smile. The journey to Earth took 6 weeks. As they neared the blue-green world, Lisa's hands shook. Clouds swirled over continents she once knew. But the planet was sick. The oceans were dull. Forests thin. Cities stood empty or overgrown. Earth had survived the wars, but barely. They landed near the Great Lakes where Lisa's family farm once stood. Nothing remained but stone foundations and a single oak tree. A woman waited there. Her name was Claire. She wore patched clothes and carried a scanner. You came, she said simply. What happened? Lisa asked. The core reactor under Chicago went critical during the last evacuation. We shut it down, but the decay never stopped. Radiation leaks are poisoning the water table. We tried everything. No one else would come. Elena stepped forward. Show us. They traveled to the ruins of Chicago. Steel skeletons of skyscrapers clawed at gray skies. Beneath the city in a buried chamber pulsed a dying machine. Its casing cracked green light flickering like a dying firefly. This is the heart, Claire said. If it bursts, the continent becomes dead land. Korak examined the controls. Human tech. I can read it but not fix it. Maya scanned the structure. The damage is deep. We need something that can bind metal and energy at once. Lisa looked at Elena. Do you feel it? Elena closed her eyes. Yes. The machine is not just broken. It is grieving. It was built to serve but abandoned. That night they camped in an old subway tunnel. Lisa could not sleep. She walked to the surface and stood under stars unchanged since her childhood. She remembered planting corn with her father, how he said, the earth forgives if you listen. In the morning, Elena had a plan. Not with tools, but with presence. We will not repair the machine. We will remind it why it matters. They gathered the few hundred survivors from nearby shelters, not engineers but farmers, teachers, children. They formed a circle around the reactor chamber. Elena began to sing a Zenth harmony low and steady. Lisa added a human folk tune her mother used to hum. Others joined with voices, drums, even silence. The machine flickered, then it pulsed in time with their breath. Korak and Mia worked fast, guided not by manuals but by the rhythm of the song. They sealed cracks with a paste made of Solara moss and Chicago clay. They realigned circuits by touch, not sight. The green light softened to blue. The hum became calm. It worked, Claire whispered, tears in her eyes. But Elena shook her head. Not yet. She walked to the center of the chamber and placed her hands on the core. Lisa joined her. Their fused blood carried more than life. It carried memory. They poured into the machine not commands but stories. Of wheat fields, of Zenth crystal trees, of children laughing on Solara. The core absorbed it all. Light filled the chamber, not harsh but golden. The machine stilled. Then it sang back a single pure note that echoed through the tunnels and out into the city. Birds took flight. Plants stirred. The air tasted clean. Earth was healing. In the days that followed, the survivors began to rebuild, not as they were, but as they could be. They planted gardens on rooftops. They taught each other Zenth weaving and human mechanics. Claire showed Lisa where her family's well once stood. Now a spring bubbled there, clear and cold. You gave us more than a fix, Lisa said. You gave us a reason, Claire replied. As they prepared to leave, Lisa stood again under the oak tree. She pressed her palm to its bark. Thank you, she whispered. Elena joined her. Will you stay? Lisa looked at the horizon where new green pushed through gray. No. My home is with you, but my heart will always hold this place. They returned to Solara not as saviors but as seeds. Word spread that Earth lived again. Ships came not to take but to learn. Humans from distant colonies returned to plant roots. The great healing had begun. Back on Solara, the children ran to greet them. One small girl with silver skin and brown eyes held up a drawing. It showed two women, one with red blood, one with silver, standing under a tree with roots that wrapped around stars. That is us, Lisa said. That is everyone, the girl replied. Evenings grew longer. Lisa and Elena sat on their porch watching fireflies blink in patterns that looked like old Earth constellations. Korak taught Maya how to carve wood into birds that almost flew. The city hummed with quiet work and shared meals. One night Lisa woke to a soft glow. Elena stood in the garden, her hands buried in soil. Tiny flowers bloomed where she touched. They were red and silver petals swirling like galaxies. What are they? Lisa asked. A gift, she said, for those who come after. They planted the flowers across Solara. They grew fast, strong, and bright. Travelers took seeds to other worlds. Soon red-silver blooms appeared on Kyalari moons, on Zenth outposts, on human stations. No one knew their name. They just called them hope flowers. Years turned. Lisa's steps slowed. Elena's light dimmed but never faded. They knew their time together in this form would end. But they were not afraid. Their blood had already woven into the world. Their choices lived in every shared meal, every mended fence, every child who chose kindness over fear. One morning, Lisa did not wake. She lay peaceful under a blanket of hope flowers. Elena held her hand until the last breath. Then she walked to the highest hill and sang the old Zenth farewell. The wind carried it across oceans and stars. Korak and Mia buried her under the oak tree they had grown from a Solara seed. Elena placed a single red-silver bloom on the grave. You are home, she whispered. And though Lisa was gone, her spirit remained. In the clean rivers of Earth, in the quiet courage of the healed, in every act of giving without asking return. The galaxy did not forget. It could not. Because once a human warrior gave her blood not for glory but for grace, and the stars themselves learned to shine softer. After a human warrior donated his blood to a fading alien princess, the result was unbelievable. Elena did not die, but she changed. After Lisa's passing, she walked the hills of Solara alone for many days. She spoke to no one, not even Korak or Maya. She sat beneath the red-silver hope flowers and listened to the wind. The wind carried Lisa's voice not as sound but as feeling. A quiet hum in the roots of trees, in the pulse of rivers, in the breath of sleeping children. Elena understood then that love does not end with a body. It becomes part of the world. One morning she returned to the village not as a princess but as a teacher. She gathered the young ones not in a hall but under open sky. She taught them not history or war but how to listen. How to hear the song in a falling leaf, the story in a stone, the truth in silence. The children called her grandmother, though she was not old. They followed her barefoot through fields, learning that strength is not in fists but in patience. Korak watched her with quiet pride. He had once believed power was taken. Now he knew it was given. He spent his days building shelters from living wood and teaching former raiders how to plant seeds instead of laying mines. Mia flew the Dawn Singer not as a warship but as a messenger. She carried seed stories and medicine to worlds still healing. But peace is never finished. It is always growing. One day a strange ship appeared on the edge of Solara's sky. It was small, made of dark metal and shaped like a teardrop. No signal came from it. No weapons fired. It simply hovered. Elena felt its presence like a cold thread in warm cloth. She asked Mia to bring it down gently. They met the ship in the western meadow. The hatch opened. Out stepped a being unlike any they had seen. Tall, thin, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that held no color, only depth. It carried no weapon, only a small box made of bone. "You are welcome, stranger," Elena said. The being bowed. "I am called Vey. I come from beyond the rim where your signal reached." "What signal?" "The song. The one your world sings. It is the first true sound we have heard in 10,000 cycles." Vey explained that his people, the Orith, had long ago chosen silence. They lived in deep space, far from stars and ships that moved without sound. They watched civilizations rise and fall but never joined. They believed connection brought pain, so they cut themselves off. But then they heard Solara. Not a broadcast, not a message. Just the hum of life living kindly. It pulled them like a tide. "Why now?" Elena asked. "Because we are tired of being alone." The village welcomed Vey not with questions but with food. They shared breadfruit and starberry tea. Vey ate slowly, his hands trembling. He had not touched another being in centuries. That night he slept in a grass hut and dreamed of laughter. In the days that followed, Vey walked with Elena. He asked simple things. Why do you plant flowers where no one sees them? Why do you sing to the sick? Why do you forgive those who hurt you? Elena answered each with a story, not of heroes but of ordinary choices. A child sharing water, a stranger mending a fence, a warrior giving blood. Vey began to change. His skin softened. His eyes gained a faint silver sheen. He started speaking not in flat tones but with warmth. He helped build a new schoolhouse. He played games with children even when he lost. But fear followed him. One night 3 Orath ships appeared, larger, darker. They sent a message. Vey has been corrupted. Return him or be erased. Elena stood before the newcomers not with weapons but with open hands. He is not yours to take. He abandoned the silence, they replied. He is broken. No, Elena said. He remembered he was whole. The Orath ships powered weapons. Korak readied defenses, but Elena stopped him. Violence will only prove their fear right. She walked alone to the landing field. Vey stood beside her. I will go back if it keeps you safe and prove that love is weakness. No. Stay. She raised her voice not loud but clear. If you believe silence is peace, come live with us. See how we speak and still heal. See how we feel and still stand. The Orith hesitated. Then one ship lowered its ramp. An elder stepped out. Her face was lined with age, but her eyes sharp. Show us they stayed for a moon cycle. They ate with families. They worked in fields. They sat with the sick. They heard stories of loss and hope. They saw how Solara did not hide pain, but held it gently. On their last day, the elder took Elena's hand. We thought feeling was danger. But it is the only bridge across the dark. They left not as enemies, but as students. Vey chose to stay. He became a gardener, planting hope flowers in shapes that told stories of old Earth and Zenth stars. Seasons flowed. Solara grew not in size but in depth. New beings came not seeking power but peace. The Dawn Singer rarely left orbit now. It served as a library, a healing place, a home for wanderers. Elena aged slowly. Her hair turned white like moonlight, but her eyes stayed bright. She spent her days with children, teaching them that every choice matters. A kind word, a shared meal, a moment of listening. These are the threads that weave a better world. One evening she sat with Mia and Korak under the twin suns. The village hummed below. Do you think Lisa sees us? Mia asked. Elena smiled. She is in every red silver bloom in every child who chooses kindness. She is not gone. She is everywhere. Korak nodded. I used to think I had to earn peace. Now I know it is given. We just have to accept it. As night fell, the stars blinked awake. Among them shone a new light brighter than the rest. The children called it Lisa's star. Years later, Elena walked to the hill where Lisa was buried. The oak tree now towered over the land, its branches wide and strong. She placed her hand on the bark and closed her eyes. I kept my promise, she whispered. A breeze stirred the leaves. For a moment it sounded like laughter. Elena did not return to the village that night. They found her at dawn seated beneath the tree. Her hands folded in her lap. Her face calm. She had not died. She had simply stepped into the song. Korak and Maya buried her beside Lisa under roots that held both earth and Zenth soil. They planted hope flowers all around. The blooms glowed softly at night like twin stars watching over the world they helped heal. Mia took the Dawn Singer one last time. She flew to Earth to the old farm where Lisa's family once lived. She planted a hope flower by the spring. It bloomed red and silver the next morning. Korak stayed on Solara. He taught the next generation not how to fight but how to build, how to listen, how to give without expecting return. The galaxy did not become perfect. Storms still came. Fear still rose. But now there were hands to hold, voices to sing, hearts that remembered a human warrior, who gave her blood, and an alien princess who gave her love, and together changed everything. And in the quiet between stars, if you listen closely, you can still hear it, the soft hum of two souls who proved that the most powerful force in the universe is not fire or steel, but a single act of kindness offered, freely and never forgotten.